Greetings. This is Arvat of Speak, the Universe Listens. As a very young person, I always felt that I carried the weight of the world on my shoulders, having to make grown-up decisions in order to survive a life marked with physical, sexual, and emotional abuse. While my face was smiling on the outside, on the inside, I always secretly cried and felt miserable. However, over the years, I learned some gems that helped to turn my life around. I now get to live the life of my dreams, filled with love, travel, and wonderment. And I am absolutely passionate about sharing what I have learned with you. If you want to live your best life, tune in each week as I, along with some amazing guests, share these life-changing gems with you. Inspired to be more, do more, have more. Greetings and welcome to today's episode of Speak, the Universe Listens. Today's topic is the illusion of ease, and I have joining me my brother Scott.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing wonderfully.
Good.
How about you?
I'm doing great as well.
Awesome.
Can't wait to dive into this topic on illusions. So what is this all about, the illusion of ease?
You know, so often we tend to think certain things appear to be easy. It appears to be easy to sit back on a couch like this and just relax and have the remote control in your hand and just change the channels. It appears to be easy. And a lot of times people will take the route that appears to be easy. It has that illusion of being easy. But when you start thinking about it a bit more, it may not be as easy as it appears.
Mm-hmm.
And if you just take that route of just sitting back and watching TV all day long instead of going out to start a business or to build your dreams or whatever, a year from now, you got the bill collectors calling. You've got your food, kind of running low, and the illusion of ease is just simply that. A lot of times, it is just really an illusion.
Yeah, because I know even for me, like when I'm not doing something, working towards whatever it is, it could be like a small goal, something simple that I just need to complete today, or it could even be something bigger, a longer term goal. But if I'm not doing it, then I feel bad. so,
Right.
So I'm sitting around saying, you ain't doing what you said you was gonna do. So it's like it's almost better to not, as you say, take the easy way, what we think is easy, because really, if you're beating yourself up,
it's not easy.
Yeah, right, it's not easy.
And I think, because if you feel that way, I feel that way. I have to imagine that a lot of you all are feeling that way as well when you know that you've made the commitment to do something and then you don't do it.
Right.
You take what appears to be the easy way. And so even if you are sitting back watching TV, it's like that thought is going on the whole time, like, I should be doing whatever it is. I should be doing this. Or, and so you're not doing whatever it is completely, and you're still not doing this other thing. And then you're feeling guilty about it.
Exactly.
Then you're feeling guilty, so then you start to eat or doing other stuff, and it's like,
it just compounds.
Right? The next thing is, I need to work out too. So it's not worth it. So, like I say, it's just not worth it. But when you think about it, for yourself, because you've always been a master of self-talk and getting yourself moving forward. Have you had any scenarios where you've looked at something and was thinking, this would be an easy way?
Yeah. So, I actually try to avoid the hard way versus try to find the easy way, if that makes any sense.
Okay. All right. Mm-hmm.
And so that's all. I do that all the time. Like, I'm always like, because as I've shared many times before, like the smallest things can paralyze me. So even if I have a phone call that I'm supposed to make, I'll be like, I'll just not want to make the call. Like I don't even know what it is, but it's something that it's like I don't want to make that phone call. And so I'll be like, okay, well, I'll make it in an hour. Or I'll make it as long as I make it by 5 o'clock. But the whole time I'm just stressing about, it's like, why am I putting it off? And then when I do the call, it'll take me all of 5 minutes.
Right.
And then I'm like, why did I stress for 5 hours?
For a 5-minute call?
Right. And I don't even know, like, what is the psychology behind that, but just like not wanting to face something or just, not wanting to go something head on. And instead of just doing and getting over with, I put myself through all that stress and almost trauma.
Just imagine for you still get it done that day, but some people will push that off a week, a month,
Yeah.
going through all that torture the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, have you come up with a way to get yourself to move forward and make the call sooner, or you still got to go through the trauma?
With the phone call situation, typically that's how I do it. Even though just the other day I was planning to do that, right? So I had to get a number from someone, and I was like, I'm gonna get the number, and then I'm gonna call tomorrow. And then I got the number, and I looked at the number, and so I was like, yeah. So I started planning in my head what I'm gonna say when I make this call tomorrow. And then something said, just dial it right now.
Nice.
And then I did. But that was like a major breakthrough for me to actually do that.
Yeah.
But typically with situations where I'm like putting things off, putting it off, and really with no good reason for putting it off, but I'll put it off, then I'll say, okay, just do 10 minutes, And
Great.
so I'll make myself do the 10 minutes, and I give myself permission that after the 10 minutes, you don't have to do any more.
Right. Nice.
And so I'm like, I can do 10 minutes. And so I'll do as much as I can do in 10 minutes. But it's amazing how much momentum you can work up in 10 minutes.
Right.
And so 9 times out of 10, once I do the 10 minutes, then I'll go ahead and complete whatever that thing was. But it's not mandatory for me. Like, I have the option to not do it. And I give myself that out. And if I really don't want to continue after the 10 minutes, then I don't.
And that way you're not beating yourself up about it.
Right.
Guilt-free.
Exactly.
Guilt-free. Yeah. And I'm thinking I may have gotten that from you from way back in the day when you was like, "This wash the dishes for 10 minutes." And then, like you say, it's amazing how much stuff you can get done that quickly.
Yeah, you can get all the dishes washed in 10 minutes. Right. But you sitting there looking at it for an hour or 2 hours like, oh.
I want to wash those.
Yeah.
And, so a lot of times it's the small pieces like that that can make a huge difference. And, and doing it that way again is you can create some momentum. You may do it for longer than 10 minutes. It's almost like whenever I'm going for a run. And I know you do the marathons. I don't do those levels of run, but still I might run a nice distance. And at some points I'm tired. And it's just like, you know what, I'm going to make it to that corner. Or I'm going to make it to that tree, right? As long as I get to that tree, I'm good. And so once I get to that tree, then I can either start walking or I can go ahead and make it to the next tree.
Right.
And so just to be able to break it into those smaller steps like that, smaller time frames, is a powerful tool.
It definitely is. And just a running example. So I'm a runner, but I'm not a fast runner. And so I'll just fast forward through all the details. But long and short of the story is I was running with these really, really fast people. And so I was like, they going too fast for me. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to just run to the stop sign, and then I'm going to bid them adieu or whatever. So I made it to the stop sign. And then I was like, okay, I'm still okay. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to run to that tree and then see y'all. I ran to the tree. I'm still okay, and I just did that, and I managed to run the entire run, literally, probably like 100 yards at a time.
Bite-sized steps. How do you eat an elephant? What they say, right? One bite at a time. Nice and easy. Nice and easy. And then another strategy that I use sometimes when it's when I'm feeling like not really doing this certain thing is I tend to think about I consider myself as very lazy. I don't know if I ever shared that with you or not, but I'm like the laziest person I know, and so I just am. And in being lazy, I think about what's easier to work or to figure out how I'm gonna pay a bill. It's easier to work. Okay. Is it easier to do something halfway and then have to go back and redo it, or to just do it right the first time? Is it easier to get this phone number in my hand and set it to the side and think about, I'm gonna call them later, or to just the first time I have it in hand to call them now? And so when I start thinking about it from that perspective, what's going to be, what's going to commit me more to my laziness? and it's interesting. I kind of got that perspective one time from back on my first job. I was out doing a catering job with the president of the company, and so we get to the job and he walks away, and I'm like, yeah, I figures he's going to leave me to carry all this stuff over there. And he comes back with his nice flatbed. We can put everything on, the wheels on, and roll it. He was like, always go to work with a lazy person. I was like, because they're going to find a way to make it easy. And it kind of gave me a different perspective on that laziness. And so I do everything now from a lazy perspective. And so I don't like to touch the same thing more than once. So if I'm going to make this phone call and I got the number in my hand, let me just go ahead and call it now. Because I know those times that I don't, now I'm going to have to think about, I'm going to have to remember it. So it's like it's occupying my mind space. But then I'm going to lose the number, right? Then I got to go and flip through stuff. What did I put that? What did I do with this number? And so then it's like, a couple of hours looking for the number again. Then I got to go through and try to come up with my words I'm going to say when I'm talking to him. So it's just too much work. So to be able to just take that one time and just do it. So I found that works for me a lot of times. But, all the time that's not something that's doable. You might be in the middle of doing something else. You can't really get to them. And, so in those type of scenarios, I will kind of bank some things and just kind of put them together. I imagine some of you all as well would have the ability to do things in bursts. We might not be always productive, but we can have these bursts of productivity. So if you have laid out what you're going to do during those bursts, then your bursts are a lot more effective. So you can just kind of in that time for, it's time for the burst, right? And you can just go right through a whole lot of stuff and just get it all done. And then you kind of sit back, that feels good.
Yeah. This might be a little off task, but that reminds me of something you actually told me. You told me that I think you said the 2 weeks before and the 2 weeks after you go on vacation, you're your most productive.
Yes. Yes. So it always makes sense to take more vacations, right?
Yeah, but that is funny because you run around like a chicken. The 2 weeks before you go on vacation, you're running around, you're getting so much stuff done, you got to get everything done. And then, of course, when you come back, you got to get everything back in order and, moving again. And you're right, it's like you get so much done in such a small amount of time. And we could have, we could do that all the time, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, have those bursts. But I think the lazy piece also is a part that a person can kind of really think about. If you're taking what appears to be the easy route, and you continue to do that over the next 6 months, the next year, the next 5 years, the next 10 years, where would you be? And if you actually kind of think about it from that perspective and really feel it, see the image of how things would be, feel it, hear it, taste it. What would that experience be like if you continue to do the thing that you're doing forever? Just continue. And I've done that a few times where I just kind of visualized that, and it was painful. It was very, very painful. And sometimes when I do need a boost, I'll kind of think about it. If I just keep doing what I'm doing, ooh, and then all of a sudden that burst comes along, and then I just get a whole lot of stuff done again. And so, as I'm saying that, I'm reminded that people are always motivated by two things: by pain and by pleasure. Those are two things that motivate us, and pain is the most powerful of those two. That's the reason why we don't run out in front of the car and go touch the stove and things of that sort, because that pain motivates us to not do a certain thing or to take action. Most people tend to use pleasure to try to motivate themselves, but pain is the most powerful of the motivators. And so if you can combine the two, that pain is what gets you up and taking action. That pleasure is what keeps you moving forward. So if you combine the two, just even in your mind's eye, it creates a burst that's really powerful that it can take you a long way.
Yeah, I guess that's true, because one thing I always had issues with, like people say, if you eat certain foods today, that when you're older, you're going to have all these ailments. And I'm like, that's just not enough to keep me from eating this. In 50 years, I'm going to be sick if I eat this today. That's just not enough of a motivator for me. So you're saying just go ahead and imagine yourself 50 years from now.
Exactly.
On medication and on walkers and oxygen and all that stuff, and make that so real for you now that you just
right.
like,
no way,
I can't eat that.
Yeah. And just as you're saying that, I just kind of flashed to what was the Christmas movie where the ghosts kind of come in?
The Scrooge.
Yeah. They take the person into their future and they see their future self, and that's always the one that gets them motivated. Like, oh no, I'm not going to die, and everybody's hating me. And so then they come back. But it was like a real experience for themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's interesting though with that, because it's like, you don't want to die with everybody hating you, but you cool with them hating you right now. That's really interesting. But I think a lot of times we have, it's like things that we're doing today. Like, let's say we're raising our family. So we may not be putting our energy into our personal dreams. I mean, I know raising your family is that's your dream too. But there's something that you would love to do as well in addition to that.
Right.
And a lot of times we forget that there's something else that we would love to do. And we spend all of our energy doing that thing, like, for example, raising your family or running your business or whatever it is that you're putting all your energy in. And when that's over, your kids go away, then what do you have? Like, you're kind of left with, who am I? What am I to do? Why didn't I do these things before? And it's almost like starting over, starting from scratch.
Right. Right. Yeah. And again, you can visualize that even while your kids are still in the belly, right? You can visualize that and keep yourself moving forward to be able to know that that's a problem that other people face. Take action now, today, to ensure that you're not having that experience once your kids are grown, or once your business, all the kinks and things are out of your business is running successfully. What would that experience be like for you?
Right. And then just the whole thing we were talking about, the 10 minutes. Like, if you did 10 minutes a day towards anything.
Exactly.
10 minutes a day towards anything has the potential to launch you wherever you want to go. Exactly.
Yeah. And and with that 10 minutes, it's always best to take 10 minutes to plan out your other 10 minutes, right? So when you get to 10 minutes, you're not sitting there thinking about what you got to do over and over again. So every day you're taking 10 minutes to think about what you got to do. Take some time to write that out. And so your next, plan it out. So the next time you got that 10 minutes to put into it is a productive bit of 10 minutes. It's a productive time where you can just kind of knock out a few things. Check, 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 check. And just, and then you're just feeling better. You're creating that momentum.
Yeah. And so we say the illusion of ease, but also I guess there's an illusion of difficulty.
Exactly.
So it's basically flipped. Like a lot of things that we think are so hard, really, if we did it, like make that phone call or whatever, it's really, that's the easy thing to do.
Exactly. Yeah. So what's hard is easy. What's easy is hard.
Okay. Yeah, I like the way you look at that. All right. So thank you so much. Do you have any closing comments on this?
Just for each of you, as you're thinking about what is important for you in your life, what is it that you're choosing to achieve, think about it further out into the future. What is it that you'd like to experience 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, and take a look at it, feel it, get into that experience of it. Allow it to be real for you even right now in this moment. And then just simply take the steps along the way to make that happen, because that's what's important to you. Feel the pain of it not happening if you continue to do what you're doing now, but also feel the pleasure of it happening if you take those steps along the way to make it, to ensure the success of your vision. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. We'll make the easy hard and the hard easy.
Exactly.
All right, guys. Scott summed it up for you. And we look forward to seeing you next week. Make sure you check out my website at arvatmcclain.com. And we'll see you soon.
See you soon. Enjoy.
Bye.